Welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. When we think about motivational meditations and spiritual growth, well, I'm going to let you know that you can't motivate yourself with meditation or meditations if you don't take seriously your emotional plane, and that involves all of those, which would be child parts that a bunch of people want to disregard because they think it's too serious. And that's actually something I can understand because I don't need to do work on my child parts since I have a securely attached, non traumatized body, because I have a mind that I own with a brain that is integrated, because I didn't get ruptured in a way that made me feel defective at my 1 year old or 2 or 3. So this is the part of why some people are like, why are you trying to heal all trauma? Other people are like, get on trauma board. So anybody who's telling anybody what to do doesn't know what it's like to be a 3-year-old. No, they do. They just pretend to use only one word. No, they don't. This is the part of why I love academia. I love learning. And when I learn from smart people, I sit with it a little bit and say, hey, God, you're discerning equanimous love, as I share in my chapter in the book that is going to come out where I'm a co-author, The Ways to God. I love God has been in my life, Jesus, Holy Spirit, and then I expanded to being a mystic with clairs and know that some people of ancient institutions, no, it's about their ancient mentality. I don't need to use the word cognitive dissonance or structural dissociation, but I can. And then there's those who like to create stories. What I do know, thank you, Stephen Porges, is that what happens to us is not a story, it's a physiological response. So when people deny data, I don't do anything with stupidity. But I do understand why those who will not be motivated by meditations will follow trending topics, because they will go do meditation yoga and then they'll spread rumors when some shit comes up because they were told by some other ancient ignorant human being that yoga is the demons, whatever. And that, you having images come up is basically demonic. So when people stay uninformed of what it means to have a brain and to have an embodied brain, or they don't believe neuroscience. I have presented to many people, hey, guess what? There's no demon from the sky. I mean, I told Jesus and God, no, God, that Jesus is with me always, and so is Holy Spirit, but I talked to God directly. And I said at 19, I'm like, hey, God, I see cowards. The 19-year-old me is still here. She just learned how to be able to handle liar, pants on fire without anger. Sadness is about connection, and anger is about correction. I'm not your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother. No one. If you were, like my facade friend, I will yell at you in the face and say, what the heck? All I asked you is to be yourself. And my friend's like, and that's when you find out later on from attachment trauma educators how fake people are. The ones who are adaptive child part. So see, they're not half safe people. Your mood swings lead you. You're a fake person. You don't know how to walk a walk, talk a talk. Told my facade friend all of his hypocrisy. He turns to me and says, you're a hypocrite. To me, no, I'm not. And then in my head I said, wait a minute, he has a point. Let's hear what his point is. He's got a subjective experience. So when you put into practice words that you don't even know, I put into practice that I know that Maria has a subjective experience. People like to tease, are you done saying it's your experience? No, because apparently if I don't say that, you're going to think I'm trying to tell you what to do, and I'm not trying to tell you what to do. You're trying to change my mind. No, I'm actually just giving you my conceptualization. You don't have to hear it. I don't have to share it. You're manipulating. No, I'm not. I'm actively trying to clarify as authentically and transparently as possible. However, if you don't trust me because your faith in humanity has been broken from your childhood, you don't have to talk to me, is how I would tell people. I don't. I have learned, thanks to being a you higher self me, and being you, meaning my own self in front of you, not you, but my point is, as I got lost, brain fog, no, I just got lost. Motivational meditation, I didn't need meditation to be silent in here and to say, you know what, everything you do will basically have people turn around and just continue. And now that I'm attachment trauma informed again, so I'm a facade friend. No, my facade friend thinks I'm a hypocrite because I say this and that are true, which means I assimilate information, use it, and expand my brain and my thinking process. And when people think that I'm trying to manipulate, I'm just thinking, okay, so if you're changeable that way, I mean, you're manipulable, not the other way around. When people explain what their idea is, I say, okay, well, I mean, if you're going to converse with people, you're going to know that they're going to make some of their points. If you don't want to hear their points, you don't have to, so that you don't have to face what you're calling change. You have options and opportunities. When you meet functional child adults, they don't take offense because it's not they hurt my ego because they don't want to hear my feelings and thoughts. No, it's okay. Look, I get it. You don't trust people. You don't want to be changed your mind. You did whatever. Okay, how do we want to break down communication? You want to socialize with me or not? I mean, we really don't have to do this. I'm very outspoken. In fact, I'm so outspoken that in events that I go to where people know me, there's a song. What is that song where people know you? Anyways, I will be recognized. In fact, I had a nice fun event. You all know about it because yesterday we had a couple episodes on it, and someone in the crowd recognized that I was the only one who spoke out about something, because I did, because I'm not afraid to speak out. And in fact, as I'm being teased, I'm like, at least I speak out. I mean, what do you want? Do you speak out? Because you should speak out. Nobody makes you not speak out. I was able to speak out. Speak up, speak out. You get what I'm saying? So motivational meditation, if you're all quiet and you're so, with self-doubt and whatever, I mean, it's not my thing, but that's where the child parts come into the mix. So when people don't notice that Patrick Tiahan is out there for people who want to love themselves first, and he says we can stand together and learn how to eventually not be upset at the boss that yells at us, that's why people go to therapy. And that's why they don't come here, self-help, personal development, to expand or spiritual growth. You don't grow the spiritual part of you if you don't have access to pure love. And when I hear 4D mystics in their pseudo-liveness, as they describe torture chamber shit in the flesh, basically, I'm brought to my therapist to have taught me what the butterfly transformation is for those who have had trauma. It's torture. Mine was not like that. It still is not like that, because my life and this very existence, no, I don't follow the one truth of what is Buddhism, suffering. I just think, Siddhartha, you went and sat under a tree. I don't understand that. Jesus walked the walk and talked the talk, and I may be a hypocrite for ignorant brains. I definitely ain't an ignorant human being when it comes to my emotions. I got anger, and it's mine. I got sadness, and it's mine. I got, afraid. My panic attacks is mine. What else would surprise, disgust. Oh, look, happiness. You only want me to have one emotion, say the people who don't want to anchor in their ventral energy. But they do love to open up studios and name their children Dharma and then do a bunch of other shit, and I still notice limited consciousness a mile away because their stingy energy is basically the same of those 11-year-olds who turned mean just because they were afraid to be vulnerable, and they weren't mean to me. I know you're pretending, liar, liar, pants on fire. Keep on doing whatever the fuck you're doing. I did it once, the little sword fight. Oh, I hurt their feelings. I don't know who it was. I just remember, hey God, I'm sorry. They started it. But you know what? It's okay. I know. I won't use it as an excuse to shame, blame, fault, revenge is for low self-esteem people. I know it now as a grown-up. As a kid, I just said, hey God, I did it. I won't do it again, because it feels really shitty to be a coward. And really, I'd rather have a conversation. So you know what emotions come up. The people who have envy, jealousy, spite, and don't go take care of it, and that they have it towards family members, friends, and they don't have compersion. You don't have to be polyamory to have compersion. Just a person who actually loves people, because you can live a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. That's the true life of spirituality. You're only going to live beyond the solo self when you own your core narrative relation and solo self. Thank you, Dr. Daniel Siegel. Bunch of people out there don't own shit, and you see they're teenagers with superheroes and supervillains, and that's why I laugh, and that's why we have news stories, and I make fun of the poor unfortunate souls. So sad, but true, because I may be a hypocrite for those who don't know how to assimilate information. To me, they don't know what proving means. They don't know what academia means. They don't know when a panel of expert meets and how important those data points are. They actually don't know groundedness in reality. If they did, then they know every one of yours, like mine, cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable without getting in your pissy pants. There's no need for rigidity. Otherwise, you're not an academic mind, you're not a seeker, you're not a knower, you're nothing more than an adaptive child. Excuse me, you're confusing science and spirituality. No, I'm not. I bring them together. And when I share these stories, I have a fun time here. But when I'm interacting with people, we have a relational field. My primary purpose is socializing, not proving Maria. I don't have to prove my concepts. It's ridiculous. I didn't choose to go and do research. I don't prove shit, because if I did want to, I know exactly what I would have done to do it seriously. I do self-help, personal development, spiritual growth. You motivate yourself to do meditation. Yes, sure you do. You first of all understand that if you are one of those who, no pain, no gain. Sorry, some of the smartest human beings out there are letting us all know things that I already knew as a kid. Only an idiot would want to have physical pain and get themselves in trouble and do a bunch of shit that you don't want to do. Oh, in college, fucking drinking, drugging, and complaining and looking at me weird because I live with my mom? Sure, keep looking at me weird. In the meantime, I know who's emotionally stable, mentally stable, physically stable. I wasn't even a mystic, and now I am. And it's not a superpower. In fact, when I see, show yourself, I'm dying to meet you, I'm intuitive, I know what's going on inside of you. Excuse me? You're an intuitive. That's fair and square. You don't know what's going on inside of me. Thank you so much for sharing your food for thought. At the end of the day, my energy sphere. I appreciate you. Spirit, source, soul, what are you? You can stay out of my space, because the whole thing about being divinity, we are all a part of a piece of energy. No, we're a piece of energy. The entire energy is intelligence. Anyone who's run by their ego will make it out to be that they're the most important thing ever. I'm a 3-year-old. I have a twin. I have a mom. She did pay attention to me. I don't need you to pay attention to me. I'm Maria. I mean it. This is why my bubble of creativity, which is a narcissism bubble, we all have it, that didn't get broken. That's why I'm like, I don't do that when somebody comes up with something that other people think is stupid, because I'm like, wow. I'm an actual 3-year-old in the flesh without any grudges, because I have a twin and I know what love is because my mother taught me. Different. Doesn't mean good or bad. It's just different. So if you need to use science, I can. Robert's posted, come on in. Determined, no free will. The only people who will be here, people who love. That's all I want, because they're going to motivate themselves to actually be able to sit in meditation inside. Doesn't mean they have to do yoga. No, it means they know how to focus their attention, be in the state of maximum uncertainty, unawareness, in awareness. And kind intention, so self-compassion. Yes, not ew. Or the pretenders who analyze everything, because they see analyzing, I need to distance myself from my own emotional plane. I'm going to be the school teacher. Adaptive child part people like to have control. That's why they do the unbridled self-expression, and then when you don't take their side, they actually don't like it. And then, when they come out of the nowhere, I'm used to that. I'm just like, okay, you obviously have a mood going on. My facade friend showed me what all fake people do. I don't yell at anybody anymore. And he has a point when he tells me from his perspective that I'm a hypocrite, because people who use half a brain don't know how to bring more than one thing together. So in his perspective, I'm a hypocrite, which I can totally accept, which is why I accept, respect, and yes, we welcome each other. That's what differences means. It means, we can come from opposite ends of the spectrum and still continue to have what is an in-depth relationship. He's my brother. And I haven't heard from him in a million years. Most pain has no gain. In other words, it wears down the immune system, disrupts the gastrointestinal system, impacts the nervous system, and leads to depression. Yes, thank you, Rick Hansen, PhD. Definitely. And people who use quotes and then they don't go and accept their child parts healed, I don't do anything with them. They're just pretending. I'm a healer. You're trauma dumping. That's not healthy boundaries. You actively did the martyr superior shit with a person who was probably a blamer, and there's your duo. Tom and Jerry having fun, and why do I always get these people? Why do I always get shitted on? And it's like, okay, unfinished business, go take care of it with Terry Real. Versus us having to see mean girls, teenagers on screen, and really, I, as a teenager, told you have no emotions. Yes, I do. I'm just not making it into, like, what is this? Are you still doing the opera from the Odyssey, the Iliad? I really didn't think that you would notice what year it is. Stress is not a consequence of a particular situation. It is a consequence of your inability to manage your own system. And the inner engineering program, amazing. But if you don't take those child parts and own them, you don't have to walk with them hand by hand. You don't have to call them your name. No. But if you don't own those emotional things that come up, you don't integrate them, because you didn't say, I'm a human. These are part of my 1-year-old, my 2-year-old. That's mindfully being aware of yourself, which is why the therapists are not patching shit. They know how your window of tolerance needs to be expanded to window welcome. They know that it takes time for 1 neural pathway to be developed, 6 to 8 weeks. And people who don't like to hear that, they want shortcuts. Shortcuts are for lazy people and people who don't understand math. I am bad with math, but I understand math. And when somebody explains to me how the embodied brain, unless you don't believe in biology, and hey, if you don't, well, you believe in miracles, Maria, yes. But I also believe science can explain some of the miracles. So there you go. It doesn't cancel out that which is faith or spirit or source. It explains things that can help all people. We also know about how manifestation happens, observation, all that great stuff. So when people are afraid that what is theirs is going to be taken away from them, it's called their personality patterns are rigid, and they don't know how to be a person who uses the entirety of their brain. They also don't know what self-confidence means. And that means that your own cherishable beliefs could be falsifiable, grounded in reality. So getting pissy in one's pants is self-doubt. I don't need to change your mind. I have a way I can conceptualize something. You can say I don't agree with it, and I will welcome that. And if you are a smart human being, stable, mature, adaptive, rational, teachable, you don't get pissed in your pants. But then again, I'm an academic at heart and mind, so that I don't get pissed because you're not proving shit. You're not a peer review who's looking at data in the way that I know that I will be looking to hear them when they're telling me we're proving. Any other person randomly telling me they're proving something, I'm just going to like, wow, having a good time. And that's how it works for smart brains. So we have a good time with all people. And when people get pissy in their pants, we just know that they don't know necessarily how to be walk like an Egyptian, and they don't know how to be their self as grown up with their brain, and it's okay. Can they go hang out with flat earthers? That way they can all talk about the reason why us, why are we the more special ones? Nobody notices the earth is flat. We're the only ones. And that's what teenagers do. Whether it is happiness or unhappiness, pain or pleasure, agony or ecstasy, essentially it happens from within. Yes, Sadhguru, thank you. And what I want to say is this: I have a lot of compassion for anyone, but I only have it for those who are actually doing the work. No, I have it for everyone. But then again, do I know everybody? No. But my point is that walk like an Egyptian. I am a mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group, and this intelligence, this beautiful intelligence, which to me came as a child growing up as God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, thanks to my Christian Catholic upbringing, which is a good upbringing for me, okay? And so with that being said, love never left, because all of my brothers and sisters can have the kingdom of God within them. And I learned from the scientist people that they can. It's called the restorative embodiment, and your body's leading you there, and your brain wants to heal all that trauma stuff. So when people ignore that they're doing pseudo-life and say, death is easier than living because, I'm with the stars, and this body is so heavy. Okay, your window of tolerance to affect has not expanded, and you don't know what rainbow body is yet, because you don't know what your light body is, because you don't know secure attachment, non-traumatization, and to walk like an Egyptian. You haven't integrated your brain left and right yet to then be able to have also what comes up, be able to be contained: sensations, images, behaviors, affects, and meanings. Pure divine. We'll be back with more, but the point is, motivational meditations, spiritual growth. You have to be able to have access to that, which is you, and then to be able to stay in meditation without freaking out, and also to be able to have a good time, because otherwise you're just going to re-traumatize yourself, even if that doesn't seem like a big deal to a bunch of people, because they live with maladaptive patterns, drinking, drugging, fucking. They numb each other, they do all this other stuff. Again, there's solution. You can live a very good life, like not a small one. And some people know this because they got earned secure attachment from disorganized identity disorder and disorganized attachment. And they're writing a book right now about how they were broken, but that everybody can be fixable, and that you're not really broken. Is that you didn't get to start off life the way I did, and any other kid who got lucky, who has the higher self of their self in the lead. I'm 45, so you can take that into account. And I'm physically mastering myself right now. So Akash is beautiful, God is beautiful. The ways to God, again, it's a mosaic of different perspectives, different pathways that we all have. It's another 8 beautiful spiritual authors. I will share more about that later on. In the meantime, have a great day.